The night was unusually cool for summer, the kind that carried a mysterious vibe as if something was lurking just out of sight. My husband, Daniel, and I had been invited to a small get-together at his childhood friend Mark's house. It wasn't the kind of party I usually enjoyed. Daniel's friends had a peculiar sense of humor and an even stranger taste for adventure. But Daniel had insisted. "You'll have fun, Sarah," he said with that charming smile of his, the one that always made me give in. We arrived at Mark's bungalow just past 9 p.m. The house sat at the edge of a dense forest, secluded and eerily quiet except for the muffled sound of laughter spilling out through the large, wooden doors. As we stepped inside, the laughter grew louder, echoing in the dimly lit living room where a group of 6 was gathered. Familiar faces greeted me: Mark, his wife Lisa, and a few others whose names I struggled to remember. The evening started innocently enough. The group chatted, laughed, and exchanged stories from their school days. Daniel seemed in his element, his laughter loud and unrestrained. But as the clock struck midnight, Mark's mischievous grin hinted at a shift in the atmosphere. "Let's make this night memorable," Mark announced, holding up an old, leather-bound book. "I found this in my grandfather's attic. It's supposed to be a guide to ancient rituals. How about we try one?" A hush fell over the group, replaced quickly by nervous laughter. "You're joking, right?" Lisa asked, though her voice lacked conviction. "Oh, come on," Mark replied. "It'll be fun. Besides, most of these are just superstitions." I glanced at Daniel, expecting him to dismiss the idea, but instead, he looked intrigued. "What kind of ritual?" he asked. "This one's called the Whisperer's Game," Mark said, flipping through the pages. "According to the book, it's a way to summon a guide who answers questions about the future. You just need candles, a mirror, and silence." My stomach churned. Something about the idea felt wrong, but the others were already on board. Before I knew it, we were seated in a circle in Mark's darkened basement, a single large mirror propped against the wall and candles flickering around us. "Now, everyone has to stare at the mirror and think of a question," Mark instructed. "Once the candles flicker 3 times, we'll see our guide." The basement was cold, the air heavy with an unnatural stillness. Shadows cast by the candles stretched and twisted on the walls, almost alive. My fingers trembled as I gripped Daniel's hand, my heart hammering in my chest. The room fell silent, so quiet that I could hear my own breathing. The candles flickered. Once. Twice. 3 times. A collective gasp escaped the group as the surface of the mirror rippled, as though it were a pool of water. My breath caught as a shadowy figure began to form within the glass. It was neither man nor woman, but its presence was overwhelming. A cold voice filled the room, though its lips did not move. "Who dare summon me?" it whispered, the words like ice against my skin. Mark, visibly shaken but too stubborn to back down, stammered, We wanted to know our futures." The figure's eyes seemed to pierce through the glass, landing on each of us in turn. "The future is a path paved with choices. Some paths lead to fortune, others to ruin. Which will you choose?" Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the candles extinguished themselves. In the pitch black, panic erupted. I could hear Lisa's frantic breathing, Mark's attempts to calm everyone, and Daniel calling out my name. But my voice was stuck in my throat. And then, the whisper came again, right by my ear this time. "Beware the one you trust most," it said, sending a shiver down my spine. The lights returned just as abruptly as they had gone out. The mirror was intact, the figure gone, but the air felt different, heavier, charged with unease. The party quickly dissolved after that. No one spoke of what had happened, but the fear in their eyes was unmistakable. On the drive home, Daniel was uncharacteristically quiet. I wanted to tell him about the warning, but the words wouldn't come. As we pulled into our driveway, he finally broke the silence. "That was intense," he said with a nervous chuckle. "But it's just a game, right?" I nodded, forcing a smile. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that the whisper wasn't just a game. That night, as I lay awake in bed, listening to Daniel's steady breathing beside me, I felt an unexplainable dread creeping in. At 3 a.m., I woke to the sound of a soft creak. My heart raced as I sat up, scanning the room. Daniel was still beside me, but his side of the bed felt cold. Was he pretending to sleep? The warning echoed in my mind, louder this time.